ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4. We are just beginning the creation of the fourth order. Okay, just give me a minute. Yeah. So we are at the fourth canto, and yesterday we have seen, we just started beginning of the fourth canto. What are the major pastimes in this fourth canto? And we are going through some discussion around the fourth canto, that is introduction to Canto 4. So we'll just continue from where we left yesterday. 1 minute. Yeah, so yesterday we were discussing about highlights of the fourth canto. So I'll just continue from there where we left off. Yeah, 1 second. I am right here. Yeah. The fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is very rich in its content. It unveils the stories of the admired personalities like Lord Shiva, Suniti, Dhruva, Narada, Anga, Prithu, and the Prachetas, who all showed extraordinary examples of devotional service. One can also learn about the unfavorable attitudes in devotional service from the mistakes of the characters like Daksha, Suruchi, Vena, Indra, and Prachini Barhi. The positive transformation undergone by many of these personalities, mainly due to the intervention of the devotees, add to the glory of bhakti. Right? So the positive transformation by the intervention of the devotee add to the glory of bhakti. Furthermore, the prayers of the pure devotees like Dhruva, Prithu, and the Prachetas in this canto disclose to the readers the foremost aspirations of the devotee, and that is to hear Krishna Katha in the association of devotees. Now, this is something very beautiful. Prithu Maharaj is the empowered incarnation, Shakti Avesh Avatar. Right. So, and all their prayers, when Dhruva, Prithu, Prachetas, when they are praying, all of them praying for one thing, and that is hearing Krishna Katha in the association of devotees. So this is something really very amazing. By rejecting heavenly enjoyment and the impersonal liberation, which are the results of the process of karma and jnana, respectively, such prayers once again establish the superiority of bhakti yoga. This canto is filled with the examples of many Rajarshis like Uttanapad, Dhruva, Anga, Prithu, Prachina Barhi, and Prachetas. So they are all the Chakravarti Samrat, they are the kings, all of them, who ruled the citizens with great responsibility while practicing devotional service and retiring in an exemplary way at the right time for spiritual advancement. Correct. So, in fact, Uttanapad was also a very, very great king. Only one part of his life is covered here as the father of Dhruva, and he did not protest when Dhruva was insulted. But otherwise, Uttanapad is considered, if we read very carefully Srimad Bhagavatam, he is considered as one of the Shaktavish incarnation of the Lord. Right. This canto also gives the glorious examples of ladies like Anusuya, Sati, Suniti, Archi, and Vaidarbhi, who were devoted to their husbands with faith. Their activities also teach lessons to disciples in serving their spiritual masters. So sometimes these examples are there, and these examples of serving with faith, and the very same example and very same intensity is applicable for a disciple serving the spiritual master. The transmigration of the conditioned soul due to the subtle body is wonderfully described through the allegorical story of King Puranjan, city of nine gates. Embedded in various episodes of this canto are the wonderful lessons for devotees in regard to positive and negative qualities, like pride and anger by Daksha. So Daksha Prajapati wanted to perform a yagya, and simply by the virtue of knowing that Daksha is performing yagya, who was in such an intense mode of passion and ignorance, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they avoided attending that yagya. They knew that something untoward is going to happen in that yagya. Tolerance by Lord Shiva, tolerance, especially when he was insulted by Daksha. Disobedience by Sati. So Lord Shiva asked Sati not to go to that yagya, which was done by her father Daksha, but still she went. And of course, she had her own positive reasons. But overall, it is like she did not obey Lord Shiva. Responsibility by Brahma, harsh speech by Suruchi. So Suruchi spoke very harshly to baby child, Dhruva. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that Dhruva was not devotee when these incidents happen, but because in the future he was going to become a great devotee, all the past activities become aparat for Suruchi. Very amazing purport that is. And if we extend this purport, everybody eventually is going to become a pure devotee because Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nityadas. And therefore, one has to behave very nicely towards everyone. Yasminno udvijate loko no udvijate chayah. Harsham harsh bhayoddvegair mukto yah sachame priyah. So people in general should be at peace and should be with us and with our presence. And one very easy way to know this is that when we walk in, what is the vibe that created by our presence? What is the vibe that is being created by our presence? And if slowly we can just understanding that vibe, and we should know that this is what I stand for in general in people's lives. So this Suruchi was extremely harsh speech. Patience by Suniti, and that is amazing. When Dhruva came crying to Suniti, his mother, Suniti did not speak any single word about Suruchi. And there are many great management lessons also. Just focus on what you can control. She knew that she cannot control the harsh words of Suruchi, neither she can control the affection of Uttanapad towards Suruchi, which is an illegal affection because the child is being trampled upon. She just did what was in her control. And she said she just took the blame on herself, gave a right guidance to Dhruva, pacified Dhruva, and asked Dhruva to perform tapasya and become devotee of the Lord. So the way Suniti handled the whole situation is very, very exemplary. In many of the management seminars in ISKCON, this example is cited in a big way. Suniti handling the tantrum of Dhruva, which was rightly justified. Determination, that is Dhruva Maharaj, right? We often the word comes Maharaj, but Dhruva is just 5-year-old boy. Prahlad is just 5 year old, and the Maharaj word was attached to him. So determination by Dhruva, inspiration by Narada, regret by Uttanapad, envy by Indra, forgiveness by Prithu, dedication by Archi, wife of Prithu Maharaj, detachment by Anga, and attachment by Prachini Barhi, and cooperation by Prachetas. So this one paragraph literally sums up entire fourth canto. These are the learnings of this fourth canto. The lineage of Manu's daughters. In the fourth canto, Maitreya continues to describe the family lines of Swayambhuva Manu's descendants. Manu had 3 daughters, Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti, and 2 sons, Uttanapad and Priyavrat. Now look at how the cantos are being described there. Devahuti is already explained from 3rd canto 21st chapter to 4th canto 1st chapter, 3.21 to 4.1. Akuti, now we will be coming to her in the very first chapter of 4th canto, and Prasuti in the 7th chapter, and then 2 sons of Manu, Uttanapad from 8th chapter to 31st chapter, practically till the end of the canto 4, and Priyavrat, first 15 chapters of 5th canto. So Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, and his family, right, they occupy a huge space in Srimad Bhagavatam. And rightly so, because we are in his own Manvantara, and Swayambhu Manu himself is a great devotee. Swayambhu, Narada Shambhu, Kumara Kapilo Manu. So he's one of the Mahajan. He is the Swayambhu Manu. Akuti married Prajapati Ruchi, and they begot Yagya and Dakshina. Devavuti's 9 daughters were married to 9 powerful sages. One of these 9 daughters, Anusuya, married Atri, and they begot the Tatreya, Soma, and Durvasa, the partial expansion of Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, respectively. Prasuti married Prajapati Daksha and begot the 16 daughters, 13 of which were given to Dharma, and 1 each to Agni, Pitras, and Lord Shiva. Sati married Lord Shiva, but she had no children, as she gave up her body prematurely due to conflict between her husband and her father. Right. So this is how the lineage of Manu's daughters. So Manu had how many sons? 2 sons. And how many daughters? 3 daughters. Right. What are the names of the sons? Uttanapad and Priyavrat. And the daughter's name? Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti. So this is. Next we move to Lord Shiva, Daksha, and Sati. On explaining Sati's death, Maitreya narrated the very instructive episode of Daksha's Yagya, Daksha Yagya, which goes from chapter 2 to chapter 7 of the 4th canto. The pride, envy, and the resultant anger of Daksha made him blaspheme and offend an exalted personality, Lord Shiva, who, in this provoking situation, exemplified the quality of tolerance. So Srila Prabhupada writes that very powerful statement. Ability of, what is that? One has to estimate one's greatness by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. Ability to tolerate provoking situations. So one can estimate one's greatness has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. And Lord Shiva, showed that ability to tolerate provoking situation by Daksha. Daksha was insulting him in so many different ways. But Lord Shiva, the way dignified, graceful, the way Lord Shiva is, he remained tolerant. Daksha later began a sacrifice without inviting Lord Shiva. But Sati wanted to attend. Her disobedience to her father's good advice led to her being dishonored by Daksha and finally to her death. So this will be explained in third and fourth chapter of fourth canto. To rectify the perpetrators of the by the appropriate punishment, Lord Shiva sent Veerabhadra, who disrupted Daksha's sacrifice and killed him. That is the fifth chapter. Such is the result of being proud, hard-hearted, and offensive to great souls. It's very important. So therefore, this is the effect of Vaishnava Aparadh, what we will see that happens in fifth canto, where Lord Shiva he sends Veerabhadra, and Veerabhadra he just destroys Daksha's sacrifice, Daksha Yagya, and kills Daksha also. Daksha's priest approached Lord Brahma, who then responsibly approached Lord Shiva to appease him. This is in the sixth chapter. Being pleased, noble Shiva, in his mood of forgiveness, restored the destruction of at the sacrifice and brought Daksha back to life, albeit with a goat's head. So Daksha was actually beheaded by Virabhadra, and surgery was performed, and goat's head was put on Daksha Prajapati. So Daksha had a goat's head. Somebody may laugh at this, and people amply laugh at this previously. But India has one of the very famous person. He was cricketer, captain cricketer, Tiger Pataudi. Okay. Uh, he was replaced, his eyes were replaced with the goat eyes. This was way back in 1960s and 70s. So with the modern science, 60s and 70s, we can have goat eyes. Another 200 years down the line, Krishna willing, there could be goat head also. Okay. Nowadays, a lot of parts of the intestine, human parts are being replaced by animal parts is not so wonderful. It has become a very common phenomenon. So, but this is like ultimate surgery. The head was replaced with goat's head. Daksha felt grateful being being brought back to life and continued his incomplete sacrifice, in which Lord Vishnu appeared and warned Daksha to respect everyone. So this is the seventh chapter of fourth canto. Then we move to lineage of Adharma. Okay, let's see what this is. Having completed the description of the descendants of the daughters of Manu, Maitreya briefly describes the lineage of Adharma, irreligion, a son of Brahma. The members of Adharma's family represent unfavorable attitudes in bhakti. The rest of the fourth canto describes lineage of Uttanapad, a son of Manu. So, and this goes on from 8th chapter to 31st chapter. Next is Dhruva Maharaj. Due to attachment to his wife, Uttanapad neither welcomed little Dhruva on his lap nor corrected his wife Suruchi, who insulted Dhruva with very harsh words. So when Dhruva wanted to sit on the lap, Suruchi said that if you want to sit, only my son can sit there. How dare to you sit? So Dhruva's simple act of sitting on the lap of his father, Suruchi just took it as he wants to ascend through the throne, like that she took very symbolically. And the way proud she was, she very harshly insulted Dhruva, and she said literally she said that that means you have to die now and pray to the Lord and take your next birth from my womb, and then you have some chance of becoming the next king. Heart-stricken, Dhruva approached his mother Suniti, who immediately tried to pacify his negative feelings and directed him to worship the Supreme Lord. Under Narada's expert direction, Dhruva performed severe austerities to attain the highest position in the world. Obtaining Lord's darshan, Dhruva became ecstatic, but regretted his material ambitions. Such is the purifying effect of bhakti. Kachan vichanvan apidivya Swami Krutarthosmi Varam Nayache. Dhruva said, my dear Lord, I was doing tapasya for some broken pieces of glass, but now I got you, Divya Ratnam. I was doing tapasya for Kacham, for broken pieces of glass. Why broken? One thing is they are useless. Second thing is they can hurt very badly. Just imagine the child is playing with, you break a glass in the house, and child picks up all those, chamak chamakta glass, and is holding in the mutti and just playing that. But not only they are useless, they are very, very dangerous also. So Dhruva is saying, my dear Lord, I am aspiring for material benedictions, but all these material benedictions are nothing but Kachan Vichanvan Api Divya Ratnam. All this Kachan. And now I have got Api Divya Ratnam. I have got you, my dear Lord, in front of me. You are standing directly. Swami Krutarthosmi. Please make me Krutartha. Varam Nayache. I have no desire. And Lord said, no, Dhruva, how can it can happen? You perform this austerity for this particular benediction. And if I just purify you, then people will say, Are Baba, let us not become devotee of Lord Vishnu. He you become so purified that your desires are only lost. So Lord said, No, I cannot do like that. I will give you whatever you wanted. I will give you. And Prabhupada writes one beautiful statement in that purport. Prabhupada says, when somebody becomes devotee of the Lord, his desires will be fulfilled beyond his imagination. What a statement Prabhupada writes there. When somebody becomes a devotee of the Lord, like Dhruva, pure devotee of the Lord, his desires will be fulfilled beyond his own imagination. Right? Such is the purifying effect of bhakti. Eventually, Uttanapad retired and gave Dhruva the rule. So this is the 8th and 9th chapter of 4th canto. Then his brother Uttama was killed by Yaksha, and Dhruva, although a great devotee, became excessively angry and tried to annihilate all the Yakshas. However, Manu cautioned him, and Dhruva sought blessings from Kubera, the king of the Yakshas. So these are the next two chapters, chapter 10 and chapter 11. And such heroic fight that Dhruva becomes very angry. So one day, Uttama, the son of Uttanapat from Suruchi, he goes to forest and he's killed by Yaksha. And his mother, Suruchi, becomes mad in the agony, and she is also burnt away in the fire. And Dhruva, he becomes so angry that his brother is killed, Uttam, that he attacks Yakshapuri. And now he displays excessive anger. He kills one Yaksha, and Yaksha after Yaksha he kills. And finally becomes so angry, he directly goes to that Yakshapuri, Alankapuri, and then there is a tremendous fight. What a fight that Bhagavatam narrates. Fight between Yaksha and Dhruva. It's fascinating fight. All our the Netflix and all our web series fights and all those espionage, it will just come to, it will just look so paltry when read those descriptions of fight between Dhruva and Yaksha. And finally, all the Yakshas attack him simultaneously, and Dhruva is overwhelmed. And when Dhruva is overwhelmed there, and then appears all the great sages. Now, let me see if I can find that verse. And when and this all these great sages, they begin to speak one beautiful verse to Dhruva. Very, very favorite, very amazing verse this is. Just one second. Please open this. 4.10.30. We'll just recite this verse. 4.10.30.
13 na bro.
30. Last verse. Munaya urchuhu
मुनया ऊचुः
औत्तानपाद भगवांस्तव शारङ्गधन्वा
औत्तानपाद भगवांस्तव शारङ्गधन्वा
देवक्षिणोत्वि अवनतार्ति हरो विपक्षान्
देवक्षिणोत्व अवनातरोति हरो विपक्षान्
यन्नामधेय अभिधाय निशम्य चाद्धा
यन्नामधेयम् अभिधाय निशम्य चाद्धा
लोकोञ्जसा तरति दुस्तरमङ्गमृत्युम्
लोकञ्जसा तरति दुस्तरम् अङ्गमृत्युम्.
All the sages said, Dear Dhruva, O son of King Uttanapath, may the supreme personality of Godhead, known as Sharangadhanva, not because there is a severe fight is going on. So the name of the Lord being called upon is appropriate to the context. And here Sharangadhanva, because there is a great bow battle is going on. Therefore, Uttanapada, son of Uttanapada, Bhagavan Stava Sharangadhanva. Let that Supreme Lord Sharangadhanva, who relieves the distress of his devotees, kill all your threatening enemies. Holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord himself. Therefore, simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, many men can be fully protected from the fearless death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved. So when Uttanapad is, when Dhruva Maharaj is being overwhelmed by, this attack of the Yakshas, all the sages they approach him and they say, "My dear Dhruva, just chant the holy names." That is the 10th canto, 10th chapter. And 11th chapter, Dhruva just meditates on the Supreme Lord, intensely chants all the illusions, and now Dhruva becomes really angry. And he just starts vanquishing all the Yakshas. And then Manu comes. And, Yakshapati, Kubera comes along with Manu, and they say that, "My dear Dhruva, your one brother is killed, Uttam. And how many Yakshas you are killing?" Sometimes, we may be walking and one ant bites us, and we become so angry that we take a bucket of water and throw on all the ants like that. Of course, here Dhruva becoming angry, and all these personalities, all the yakshas killed by Dhruva, just like Parthastra Padamapureta, all the enemies killed by Partha were sent back home back to Godhead. All the enemies, all the yakshas killed by Dhruva were sent to the abode of Surya Lok and beyond, simply by the virtue of being killed by a pure devotee. Of course, Dhruva is not aware of that. And then Dhruva becomes pacified, and Kubera becomes very happy with Dhruva, and he says, "My dear Dhruva, ask for a benediction." And here is, treasurer of demigods asking Dhruva for a benediction. And Dhruva says, "My dear Lord Kubera, please give me benediction that I will be always remain fixed in unalloyed devotional service to Lord Hari." And he refrains from asking any material benediction. After ruling for 36,000 years, Dhruva retires and ascends to Lord's abode along with his great mother, Suniti. That is the 12th chapter of this 4th canto. Next begins King Anga and Vena. Right. So we'll just continue King Anga and Vena. Dhruva's dynasty continues with King Anga. That is 13th chapter. His wife was a daughter of Mrityu, and thus they begot a very cruel son, Vena. Failing to reform his son, King Anga saw it as the will of the Lord and renounced the kingdom. The dutiful sages who always think of the welfare of the people in general enthroned Vena because there was no king. Vena was the horror personified. He is the son of daughter of Mrityu. His grandfather was Mrityu personified, and he inherited all those qualities. Right. So how Prabhupada explains very beautifully there. The son inherits qualities of the mother, and mother inherits qualities of the father. Now, the father is Mrityu, daughter is daughter, and the daughter's son is Vena. And Vena became as death personified as his grandfather was, Mrityu. But he was enthroned as the king. But the mean Vena claimed himself to be the supreme lord and obstructed the worship of Lord Vishnu. Sages became very disgusted with him and simply by Hunkara killed him. This will come in the 13th and 14th chapter. Later, they churned his dead body to separate out the contamination in the form of Bahuka, and the pure portion of Vena's body, Maharaj Prithu and Archi, made their appearance. Then we have the pastime of Maharaj Prithu. Prithu and Archi are the partial expansions of the Supreme Lord and his eternal consort Lakshmiji. Various demigods offered their presentations to Prithu Maharaj, and various bards glorified him despite his humble objection. So as soon as he appeared from the body of Vena, everybody started glorifying. And Prithu Maharaj said, "Arey, let me do something before you are glorifying me so much. Let me do something first." So this comes in 15th and 16th chapter. Prithu Maharaj is considered as management personified Supreme Lord. Okay. Extremely very well management in the mode of Sattva Guna. Prithu became angry at the earth who had hidden her grains due to unrighteous rulers like Vena. Taking her advice, Prithu milked her to extract many essential resources and thus saw the welfare of his hungry citizens. This will be 17th and 18th chapter. Next, Prithu initiated many horse sacrifices, and in the 99th one, the envious Indra stole sacrificial horse and inaugurated numerous irreligious paths. So he was taking a different Veshabhusha, and with one Veshabhusha, one Apasampradaya was initiated by Indra. Because Indra is known as Shatakratu, one who has performed 100 horse sacrifices. And anybody who performs 100 becomes next Indra. And Indra was extremely attached to his position. It is like somebody is a professor and next PhD becomes the next professor, and then somebody is just obstructing the PhD thesis or some this we can very well relate to any walk of one's life. So when the 100th yagya was going on, Indra was constantly coming in as a different sannyasi. The son of Prithu Maharaj was always refraining from attacking a sannyasi, and Indra used to steal the horse. And finally, Prithu became very angry. But Prithu Maharaj wanted to chastise Indra, but all the sages said, "No, Maharaj Prithu, you don't have to do anything. By our potency, all these Brahmanas, they said that we will bring Indra directly to the sacrifice." And they just chanted mantras, Indraya Swaha. And Indra was just pulled in the sacrifice. And then suddenly Lord Brahma appeared there. And Lord Brahma, he appeared, and Brahma advised King Prithu to be mature. He said that Indra is also a devotee, although he's a very attached person, but still he's a devotee. You are also a great devotee, and you are a senior devotee. And being a senior to Indra, you are supposed to refrain from performing this activity. And he appeared with Indra also. Brahmaji appeared with Indra, and Indra was like, and then Prithu Maharaj very happily gave up performing that 100th yagya. Brahma advised King Prithu to become mature, and thus Prithu relented and gave up his ambition of performing 100 yagyas. This is the 19th chapter. Such a submissive attitude is very pleasing to Lord Vishnu, who then appeared as Prithu's sacrifice and instructed him. Prithu forgave Indra wholeheartedly and offered heartfelt prayers to Lord Vishnu. Right. So, 99th sacrifice did not please so much the Supreme Lord as the incomplete 100th sacrifice by Prithu, and that is the quality of cooperation amongst the devotees. So we'll conclude here and we'll continue the next narration tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaura Bhakta ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Everyone, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji,
Hare
thank you everyone. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhupada, thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.